Hey, what is up guys, my name is Rizzial and welcome back to another edition of my Modern House tutorial series. Now the house I'll be building today is quite unique as it has multiple garages at both ends of the house as well as featuring many cool things like its large skylights for the top and bottom levels and a spacious balcony that sits beneath an overhang. Not only that, but the house's large design and high walls makes it have a grand mansion feel to it. So with all that being said, let's get right into building it. Now first up we will lay out the dimensions of the house. So start by placing down a 27 long row of gray concrete blocks for the back wall. Then from both ends of this wall we will extend out 16 blocks towards the front, so these walls to the sides are 17 blocks long in total. Now from the front ends of these side walls, let's go over 5 blocks towards the middle, and at the 6th block over, place an 11 long row of gray concrete from each end. Then from the back of these inner walls we just placed, let's extend out 4 blocks towards the middle. And now from the ends of these, let's extend out 6 more blocks towards the front. Then let's place in a block at each of these ends towards the middle, leaving a 3 block gap here for the main entrance. Now for the last walls, we will place in a divider at each side where the garage will be. So at the 8th block over from the front ends of both outer walls, place in a road that connects to the inner wall. Next we will add in the flooring to the house. So in front of the 2 wall dividers we just placed, let's add in some stone for the garage floor. Then with the garage floor in place, let's now fill in the rest of the area's floor within this gray concrete with acacia planks. So now with all the flooring in place, let's next extend all these gray concrete walls up 3 blocks so they are 4 blocks tall in total. Next up, we will cover over this first floor. So let's do this by placing in smooth quartz over the grey concrete walls and across the area except for at the front two garage sections. Now once the house looks like this, we can place in smooth quartz along the top edge of the garage walls and then across the front two rows of it so there's a 5x5 gap. And then within these gaps here, we can place in black stained glass for the skylights. Now with the glass in place, let's next extend a border of smooth quartz slabs around these skylights. Then with these skylights in place, let's next extend smooth quartz across these two middle gaps here to create a couple overhangs. Now next up, we will add a smooth quartz trim around the back of the house that hangs out a block from the walls. So starting from the third block back from the skylight slabs, we can extend these around the back into the same spot on the other side. Then once we have this back trim in place, let's now add an upside down smooth quartz stairs around the remaining front half of the house. Next up, we will add in the second floor. So on top of this back trim of smooth quartz blocks we just placed, let's extend up 5 more rows of these blocks so the walls are 6 blocks tall in total. Then once we have these walls up, we will now add a roof over top it. So from the top of these side walls, let's extend over 10 layers of smooth quartz from each side, so we have a 7 block gap in the middle for the skylight. So once the roof looks like this, we will add a front overhang onto it. So at the third block over from the gap, we will add a diagonal of 4 blocks from each side. And then with these quartz blocks in place, let's now connect them across the front and back rows and fill in the space between them. Then around the edge of this overhang, let's add an upside down smooth quartz stairs. And now on top of these upside down stairs, let's add in some regular stairs that also extend and wrap around to the back like I do here. Next, we'll shape this gap to the size of the skylight, so start by adding a row of smooth quartz at the back here. And then at the front part of this gap, let's add in a block into each corner and remove 3 blocks at the middle of this row. So once the shape of the skylight looks like this, let's now fill in the space between this gap and the stairs with smooth quartz. And now with the top layer of this gap, let's fill it in with black stained glass and then add smooth quartz slabs around the edge of it. Next up, we will fill in the front wall of the top floor. So from each side, let's place in 4 columns of gray concrete spaced a block apart from each other like I do here. Then in between these gray concrete columns, let's add in black stained glass panes. Now at the ends of these inner two columns, let's add in a couple more from each side with one sticking out towards the front. And then at the ends of these columns that stick out, let's add in 2 rows of glass panes towards the middle with another column after that. Now in this remaining gap here, let's add in an acacia door at the center with black stained glass blocks around it. Next we'll add a railing around this balcony, so let's do that by placing black stained glass panes starting from one of these end columns and out to the edge and around to the other end column. And then on this balcony we can add some lounge chairs by placing acacia stairs and slabs like I do here. Next we'll add the rest of the doors to the house, so within this gap at the bottom of the wall, let's add an acacia door with black stained glass around it and a layer of grey concrete for the top layer. Then at these 2 side gaps we'll add in the garage doors. So in a block from the ends, let's add in 4 rows of horizontally placed quartz pillar blocks with 3 acacia buttons on them as well. And now at the front of these 2 doors, let's extend across a row of grey concrete at this top layer. Next up we will add in the windows to the house. So at the 4th block over from each corner of the side and back concrete walls, let's place in a couple 2 tall black stained glass pane windows spaced a block apart with leaves underneath them for some bushes. That once we have the side and back wall windows in place, we will next add a couple more of these windows at the inner sides of the garage wall, starting from the 4th block over as well. And then for this entrance area, let's place in windows at the middle of each side wall that are 2 blocks wide and 3 blocks tall. Next we will add some more windows at the back of the house. So at this top quartz wall, let's start by placing in a couple 3 wide by 2 tall windows above the bottom 2 windows. And then at the center of this wall, let's add in a window that is 3 blocks wide and 4 blocks tall. Now back at the front of the house, we will next decorate the entrance area. So start by adding a 5 wide path of smooth quartz in front of the door that extends to the ends of the garage walls. Then at the sides of this path we will add in a couple flower beds. So start by adding some leaves off the ends of the entrance walls. And now at the front of these bushes, let's add in some pink and red tulips, and then behind them we'll add in some lilacs and rose bushes. Then lastly, to finish up the house, let's add in some black stained glass panes around the flower beds on top of the quartz. Now as for what you want in the interior of the house, I'll leave that entirely up to you guys, but as always I'll quickly show you how we decorated mine as an example. But that is going to be all for this modern house tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed and thank you so much for watching. As always, I'd love to hear all your feedback and don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed, as that would be much appreciated. And with that said, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Later guys, bye bye.